Now, today in the morning, the Deputy President William Samoei Ruto had an interview at Inooro FM radio, an interview that was also covered live at Citizen TV. So the DP got a chance to air out his view, and the Kenyans got a chance also to listen to him. And at the same extent in that interview, the DP was basically defending himself and also at the same time complaining about President Uhuru Kenyatta's government. A complaint that even he went ahead to complain about the former NASA principals joining President Uhuru Kenyatta government. And largely he was complaining about the ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga, and even to some extent also about Fred Okengo Matiang'i, the CS for Interior, on how President Uhuru Kenyatta went ahead to dedicate his roles as a deputy to Fred Matiang'i, leaving him with nothing to do. So I want us to use this opportunity on this punchline to check on that story. But before we go deep into that, you might be watching me and you have not yet subscribed. My humble request is please consider to subscribe so that you help us to grow this platform. And to all the people who have subscribed, I must say thank you so much, because actually I'm seeing the numbers are really amazing. So now let us get back to our discussion. Now, Ngunjiri Wambugu, the Nyeri town member of parliament, caught my eye attention when I was reading something on social media. There is something Ngunjiri Wambugu wrote about that interview, and this is what Ngunjiri Wambugu is saying on his Facebook. I don't normally listen to DP Ruto anymore. He lies too much, and there is too much hate and bile in his careful, wondered utterance. But today I was in Inooro TV studio while he was at Inooro FM, and at some point we listened and I got to make some initial response in my view. So, number one, Ngunjiri goes ahead to say that Ruto is determined to incite Mount Kenya region against President Uhuru Kenyatta. So he is selling an idea that without him, President Uhuru Kenyatta does not know what he is doing. That is according to Ngunjiri Wambugu. And this is because if you listen to that interview carefully, you'll hear the DP trying to claim that Kenya was okay when he was still a substantive DP. But once he was removed from the center of power, now Kenya is on the wrong direction. So the DP is claiming that at first time he was able to advise the president, but soon when he was kicked out, and that is during the handshake according to what he's claiming, then from that time he was away from power and he did not get time or chance to advise the president, or even the president to listen to his advice. So that means that the president changed the person who used to advise him to Raila Amolo Odinga and Fred Okengo Matiang'i, because he's still claiming that Okengo Matiang'i took over the responsibility that he was doing during the first time. So according to the DP, he is claiming that, in my view, that Raila Amolo Odinga has successfully managed to misadvise President Uhuru Kenyatta. That is why President Uhuru Kenyatta government in second term is failing. The one thing I'm reading here is that in as much we are talking about the current Kenyan economy, we still have to remember that there is COVID here, which has cost many lives. And again, at the same time, if you remember about the scandal that were happening in Kimwarer and Aror Dam, ile yenye Raila alikuwa anasema 700 million is not a mandazi change, and the DP was still claiming that it is only 7 billion. You see? So all these huge scandals were happening during that first time, but this was put to an end at a time when the handshake came in. I remember this thing, and I know most of you still remember this. So it is too hard, and even at the same time, if you remember, there was the issue to do with Kamata Kamata, which also threatened some people in specific sectors to at least reduce the theft in those sectors during the second term, at the time when there was handshake. That's the time President Uhuru Kenyatta got a chance to at least try to stop corruption in his government. So according to Ngunjiri also, he is making it clear that Ruto, by claiming this issue, it means that the Central Region people will definitely associate with him and de-associate themselves with President Uhuru Kenyatta and any candidate that the president might be bringing to them in 2022. Because the president, with all indications, it's clear he might not support his deputy. So for that reason, William Samoei Ruto is preparing the ground to shift against President Uhuru Kenyatta wishes in 2022 and the control of Central Region politics. That is what Ngunjiri Wambugu is trying to claim here. And in his second point, Ngunjiri says that Ruto has reached a point where he is willing to attack Uhuru policy and directive. He has shown that he is willing and capable of attacking the president policy, and he will do and say anything to make Uhuru look like he doesn't know what he is doing. E.g. statement on Uhuru's invest in 4 billion firearm production rather than using this money to employ 500 youth. So Ruto mentioned that thing, and he was definitely challenging President Uhuru Kenyatta in public about the 4 million that he decided to invest in firearm. And according to Ruto, that project definitely employed about 100 Kenyans. So according to Ruto, if this money could have invested somewhere else, it could have at least employed 5,000 youth outside there. So that one, in real sense, the DP is definitely challenging President Uhuru Kenyatta projects definitely in public, rather than he could have done that in privacy or even just choose to remain silent. So in that way, definitely he is sabotaging President Uhuru Kenyatta project. But remember, these guys were running a manifesto. So what President Uhuru Kenyatta is trying to implement is the Jubilee manifesto, which they were running on with his deputy William Samoei Ruto. So Ruto might use anything possible to make sure that he is definitely attacking President Uhuru Kenyatta and in one way defending himself. So in that way, Ngunjiri claimed that Ruto is definitely poking holes in President Uhuru Kenyatta's nose directly. So number 3, Ngunjiri goes ahead to say that Ruto wants Uhuru to fail. He is willing to do whatever he can do to achieve this, even if it means deliberately sabotaging the government policy within, directly or indirectly. It also means that he is willing to work with people who are happy if Kenya fails or face harm, or whoever again and who is again against the national interest, be it security or economic. So that is another claim. But again, it is true and it's clear, because if you listen to William Samoei Ruto, definitely he will always complain about President Uhuru Kenyatta government, those people who came in and even challenge President Uhuru Kenyatta publicly, rather than advising him in privacy. Again, when you see Ruto also going ahead to claim about the NASA principal who are disturbing President Uhuru Kenyatta, when the president himself found it well in his own wisdom to involve the opposition people in his government such that he can have an easy time to run his government. If you remember, after the 2017 general election, definitely the NASA people, ile imekufa sasa, by that time, they were definitely calling for resist, and even most of the companies were definitely getting out of Kenya, simply because they felt that they were robbed in 2017. So President Uhuru Kenyatta understood that for him to run his government smoothly, definitely he would need to extend an olive branch. That's how he managed to serve his second time freely. But William Samoei Ruto, because he was definitely just focusing on presidency, definitely understand that in as much President Uhuru Kenyatta will have Raila Amolo Odinga in his government, it is going to sabotage his plan to become president in 2022. And for that reason, Ruto has to use every means possible to make sure that definitely he's getting to power. And when Ngunjiri talk about Ruto using every means possible, be it even using security of the country, anaongea kuhusu the journey that William Samoei Ruto had to Uganda, and the guy who was involved in that journey, whom people are referring to as a terrorist. We are not sure, though the Turkish embassy has come clear about it, that he is a businessman. So yes, it is true, President Uhuru Kenyatta government has had the ups and downs. If you look at this thing, you find Big Four agenda to deal with Big Four agenda. It has become a problem as of now because of the sabotage, the theft, and all those things that has happened in his government. But still, some people believe that when the handshake came, at least President Uhuru Kenyatta government has had the face of Kenya. That's why the president is able to even extend the national government project to Nyanda region. That's why you see these people, at least they have enjoyed the fruit of the national government. The president has been able to do a number of projects, and since all Kenyans are being taxed, it is just rightful for that to happen. We have seen the president even extending to Lower Eastern, Kule Ukambani, where he has opened a number of national government projects. He has even extended to Coast region, where he has gone more than 3 times to open the national government project. And even as of now, the president is prepared to make his way to Western region, where he is set to open a number of national government projects and even initiate a number of projects on ground. So going forward, we are coming to understand that in 2013 to 2017 first government of President Uhuru Kenyatta, these guys were definitely concentrating on Central region and the Rift Valley region in terms of national government project. Zile project kubwa kubwa, they were definitely happening in these 2 regions. But after the handshake, the president was able to penetrate the other side of the country, and at least some people can smile because they can see a number of projects on the ground. So I think, in my view, Ngunjiri Wambugu might be right, and in some other extent, I don't agree with him, because, for example, if you talk about the Big Four agenda, to some extent it has failed, and to some extent it has. So the Big Four agenda is one of the projects that I don't agree with him, because that largely it has failed because of corruption. Another thing is to deal with corruption. Still, President Uhuru Kenyatta found problem solving the issue to do with the corruption in his government up to now. The issue of employment, to some extent they manage kazi mtaani and all those things. We have people who benefited from those, but still we have people who did not benefit. So to some extent it has worked. But the biggest problem, which Ruto is not definitely telling Kenyans clear, is that COVID came in, and that COVID definitely has cost the country, and it's not only Kenya. There are so many countries who have passed through those problems. So thank you for listening to me. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about that interview? For those people who listen to that interview at Inooro FM, give me your views. See you in our next video.